Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the best-selling Fearless Tarot and Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards and Matters of the Heart. And it is time for this week's Oracle Reveal. So earlier on my social media, I placed up a photo of 3 different animals and asked you to use your intuition and just to ask yourself which animal seems to be calling to you because that animal has your message. And the 3 animals were the raccoon, the fox, and the horse. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself which animal seems to be calling to you because that animal has your message. And you'll also want to listen to the outro because I'm going to pick one more card for all 3 animals collectively, a parting lesson that you might want to keep in mind for the week ahead. So without further ado, let's go into the raccoon animal spirit. And before we get into that, please do subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really does help me out. So the raccoon is the little bandit of the animal kingdom. And raccoon could be something that you're attracted to this next week because you need to be ingenuitive, crafty, or even find ways around the defenses of certain things that might have felt sort of off limits from you or just out of reach, be they goals or something else. The raccoon is so intelligent at finding the ways around those obstacles. So this could be a week for you to really use your mind. And instead of getting frustrated with how something looks or something just feels closed to you, be like the raccoon and really examine that and say, I bet there's a way in. I bet I can find a way around this obstacle. Don't just walk away from it feeling defeated. First card for a raccoon is where is it best for you to place your focus this next week? And we get the 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands can indicate that you're trying too hard. You're pushing too hard for what it is that you want. When you're in the struggle, or if you're in that flow of struggle, it's going to just attract more struggle. And so sometimes the 10 of Wands will ask you to stop and become aware of how your energy is comporting itself when it's handling its tasks. This card does show that there is effort that's required for you, but this is also a card of silent determination and almost completing a cycle, almost finishing a cycle. The figure on this card is just about to cross the threshold. You can see he's just about to get to that finish line. And so too for you, you're so close to something that you've been striving for or looking forward to. And yet this is a card that's saying that maybe there's too much struggle being implemented right now, that instead you're needing to just surrender some of these burdens. There's a natural current going through your life. And what you want to do is go with that flow toward what it is that you desire, instead of feeling like you have to push for it or grind for it. I also just feel like the 10 of Wands for the raccoon is saying there may be quite a few things that are needing to be sorted through, especially before the month of October for you. And yet it's just so important that you're kind of like, putting your finger in the air and seeing which way the winds are blowing and going with that current, going with that flow, letting those winds take you to where you want to go instead of pushing against the winds or struggling needlessly. The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom if you pick the raccoon, and we get the Chariot reversed. Now, upright, the Chariot can represent feeling in control, on top of things. It can also just feel like you're trusting where the mystery is leading you. When the Chariot comes up reversed, it could be a time where you're starting to second guess where the mystery's been pulling you. There has been some success that you found earlier with trusting where things are going with the flow. And yet Chariot reverse could say that you might be outside of your comfort zone and starting to wonder, is this the right thing to do? Am I making the right decisions? Are things going to be okay for me? And yet the Charioteer, upright or reversed, is telling you that you need to tap into your courage, even when the going gets tough. I feel as well that this might be a time that you need to exert control over the things you do have control over. And what you mostly have control over is how you're feeling, how you're doing in your center, what kind of energy you're choosing to tap into. I feel if things are starting to feel out of control for you or like they're pulling you in 2 different directions, this might be a time for you to stop and to get clear. Maybe do a little bit of journaling or meditate or take a walk in the woods, but get out of your head, get out of that conflict mindset. And I feel like if you do, it's going to clear the way for you to shift gears. And I feel like you can start to grab the reins of the Chariot again and feel like you're getting control. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you this next week is actually Zeus, the king of the gods, the highest one. And this card says, I trust my authority. I enforce it wisely and fairly. And Zeus is the ruler of Olympus. He's reminding you that you are the ruler of your own life and its direction. And you need to trust in that part of yourself that does feel powerful. That's what that Chariot reversed is really testing. And even the Ten of Wands to some degree is also testing that. And I just feel like you're needing to remember that you are limitless and that when you exert control, when you take regal authority over your own life and its direction, over how you're feeling, and you're not just reacting to the actions of other people or the things that are just outside of your control, then you're going to start to feel like you're the sovereign over your own life. So I feel like this is a time where you're needing to get back in tune with that inner majesty, that part of you that feels unflappable and knows its worth and knows its value. It's also time for you to exert control over what you do have control over, which are your reactions or where you're placing your focus. Because Jupiter is, or Zeus is also associated with Jupiter. And Jupiter in astrology is the planet of expansion. And I feel like the message for you this next week, Raccoon, is that what you're focusing on is expanding. It is getting bigger. And so you really want to clear out any vibes that are making you focus on sort of the stuff you don't want, and instead really try to focus or affirm on those things that really you do want to see expand. You do want to see become prosperous or successful. Next, we're going to go into the fox animal spirit. And fox is a very clever animal. And so fox could indicate that this is a time where you're sort of getting into your wits, where you're really looking at things in a clever way. In a lot of ways, the fox and the raccoon seem to have a similar kind of energy to them because they're both the ones that some might be considering them sneaky, but fox is just kind of cool. It's slick. It finds its way around the obstacles. It outfoxes those obstacles. Fox can also indicate, especially with this card, with the fox's plane, that this is a time for you to get playful, maybe even to feel beautiful, to let your inner beauty come out, or to start to release some of the tension that's been building up around you. First card for Fox is, where is it best for you to place your focus over this next week? And we get the Hangman card. And anytime we see the Hangman, a sacrifice is required. Just now, the hangman has sacrificed the ability for him to get up and move around or use his hands. They're tied behind his back. He's also dangling from the tree of wisdom or the branches from the tree of wisdom. And yet, as he's suspending his life purposefully, all the energy is pooling to his head as he's turned upside down, causing it to glow. And this indicates that stepping out of the drama, stepping out of the rubber band is sometimes the wisest course of action. Sometimes hitting pause and stopping and looking at your life and considering what needs to be sacrificed, what needs to be let go of is the best course of action instead of just hammering ahead and trying to push for what you want. The Hangman can also be a card of surrender. And so this is an important week for you as well to surrender to your spirit, to your own inner wisdom. I feel like there's a higher mindedness that's really coming through with this card. And so it's so important that you're aligning with that energy. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you pick the fox, is actually the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is saying that there is a lot of movement happening around you. It could indicate that your inner wisdom is telling you to move with events instead of moving against them. It can also tell you that with where things are going and where the wind is blowing, this might be a time where you're sacrificing your need to control everything that's flying by your head and instead surrender it, allow it to go. You're going to have a much more considered approach or a much better, wiser approach to what's going on around you if you're in a calm frame of mind. The Eight of Wands can also indicate that you're getting organized in your thinking. You're really focusing your thoughts towards what it is that you want, but that you need to take advantage of where the currents are flowing. And I just get a sense from these two cards together. You know, the Eight of Wands of all the cards in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot is the only one that doesn't depict a person or even a part of a person on it. It's a non-personal change card. Sometimes it'll represent changes that are happening outside of us that we didn't cause, that we didn't affect. And sometimes that hangman card is like, you just have to let it be. You just have to let that thing do what it's doing and learn from it. But I just feel like the biggest thing that you need to sacrifice is your panic or your anxiety about staying on top of or in control of or in front of these 8 sticks moving through the air at breakneck speed. All you can do is set out your sail and let this big wind gust you toward where you want to go. And I just kind of feel like it's time to relinquish that sense that you need to manage every little thing. It's almost as if the fox and the raccoon have a very similar message this next week, but there is the sense that you can't control it all. And you're much better when you're in harmony with nature and harmony with where the universe is flowing, instead of feeling like you need to stand against every single thing and make that your cause and the hill to die on and push against and rail against that which already is. I feel like there is going to be so much more wisdom available to you if you do some acceptance. Accept where things are at. Accept yourself where you're at in your cycle. And know that nothing can harm you. Nothing can harm you unless you allow it to. And so it's a time to just let go of anything that's causing you tightness, tension, anxiety, worry, and instead just really go with that flow. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you this next week is actually Orpheus. Orpheus is the harpist, the lyre player who played such beautiful music that he could even persuade death. He could even open up the underworld and summon his beloved. Orpheus, his card says, "The beauty I create opens other worlds." And isn't that interesting? Orpheus is the head of the Orphic order, the Orphic mysteries. And these are, the mysteries that have to do with death and rebirth and transformation and change. And I feel like you're needing to not rail in the external, in the physical world right now. You're needing to begin internally. You're needing to open up to your inner world, the inner wisdom that's there. And this in turn will reflect externally for you. But I feel like this is a time to get in harmony with what needs to change or what you need to open in yourself. You might also have forgotten the transcendent luminous spirit that is within you. And so sometimes Orpheus can indicate going into the underworld and getting reacquainted with that deeper knowing inner wisdom, much like the hangman there, as he's going through his sacred sacrifice. He's turning things on their head, but he's gaining that wisdom. I feel like there's a profound wisdom just in front of the fox. And to hear it, you need to get quiet. And you need to stop engaging in the dramas outside of you. You need to find your inner wisdom, find your inner voice, and almost align with that energy. I can almost feel like that is already starting to align with some of you, where you're really getting into that vibe, where you know that inner wisdom is going to guide you. And I just feel like the message for you is everything's going to be okay. Everything is going to turn out, especially when you get inside of yourself, get inside that inner wisdom. And then finally, our last animal spirit is the horse. And if you're attracted to the horse, well, horse can mean a couple things. Horse can represent power. Horse is also the animal of magical assistance. Horses helped humankind reach places that were out of reach. And so this could be an animal archetype for you that tells you that wonderful things are possible, but sometimes you need to accept the help that's being offered. I just also kind of feel like the horse is galloping toward what you really desire, what you really want. It might be galloping toward your power. First card for the horse is where is it best for you to place your focus this next week? And appropriately, we see a person astride a horse in the Knight of Cups. Now, the Knight of Cups is the messenger of love in the tarot. He can represent a focus on relationships or connections with other people. But the Knight of Cups is also the messenger of your bliss. What makes you feel good? He's the messenger of what your inner purpose is. And his quest is for the Holy Grail, the symbol of purity, the symbol of spirit within you. And I feel like the horse is going to help you get there. The horse is telling you that the help that you need to get to your dream will appear when you need it. And you need to not worry about how it's going to happen or how to focus on it or how you're going to make it all work. But instead, you just need to focus on your love for the work that you're doing, the love of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And all the other things are going to fall into place. The right horse is going to gallop in at the right moment. The right person is going to appear and offer that opportunity for you when it's needed. The right person is going to appear to you when your heart is ready for that person, for that connection, for that deeper growth. The Knight of Cups is a really profound card. And what he can indicate is, as well, it's so important that you are communicating, that you're connecting. The Knight of Cups wears the winged helmet and shoes of Mercury, the messenger god, so he declares what it is that he wants. And I think that this is so important for you. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you pick the horse this next week, is the Seven of Cups. So another Cups card. But both of these cards have to do with dreams and desires. And so there is this sense of getting clear on what your dream is. I also feel with the Seven of Cups that the pathway in front of you right now, if you pick the horse, it's covered in a mist. It's a bit foggy. It's rather difficult to see. How is this all going to work out? Well, you don't have to figure out the how it's all going to work out. You just need the willingness to begin, to start, to take the quest that's right in front of you, the thing that's been opening for you now. Stop projecting next month, 2 months, 2 years, this year, that year, where I'm going to be, how is it all going to go on? Instead, be willing and open with the sign or the signal that you're being given right now. Sometimes the Seven of Cups warns us against our hopes and our fears that can spook us out of, the things that we really desire. And so stop projecting on what you can't see. Stop using your imagination in destructive ways to think of worst case scenarios. And instead, really choose to focus on things perhaps working out for the best. Perhaps this does go your way. Perhaps you need to open up to that possibility. But I feel like this is a really interesting time where you're parting the myths and you're differentiating between reality and what is the illusion, what is the fog that's before you. Follow your dream, follow your bliss, follow your heart's desire, and the myths will part. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you is Harpocrates. He's the god of innocence. And his card says, I am innocent of all the accusations I direct against myself or those coming from others. And knowing my innocence, I find silence. And I feel like there's an inner quiet you're needing to find with Harpocrates. There's a sense of you need to stop blaming yourself. You need to stop feeling blamed. You need to stop thinking you're on the wrong track or something is wrong or you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're exactly where you need to be. And this could be that inflection point. This could be the turning point for you. You also need to tap into the silent inner knowing of what your bliss is and trust it. You need to trust that pure, innocent part of yourself. Just as the Knight of Cups goes towards the Holy Grail, so too you need to honor the inner innocent, the one in you that's pure. You've already been purified. And so it's so important that you are really accepting this and that you're not holding the past against yourself or you're not bludgeoning yourself with a future that hasn't even happened yet, but that you're just looking at yourself right now and forgiving yourself for whatever it is that you think you've done or not done, because you are getting better every day and you're becoming more aware of your spirit. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. We're going to get into a collective card for everybody in just a moment, but I just want to thank you all for watching the video. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also leave a comment in the comment box because it boosts the engagement and does help the channel. Also, if you like my style of reading, you're going to absolutely adore a one-on-one tarot session with me, and you can book that at elliotoracle.com. I also have email readings there, and I also have gift certificates, signed books, free tarot card meetings, and all sorts of other goodies. So do check out the website. And without further ado, let's get into the final card for the collective for everybody. And we get the Hermit card. Now, the Hermit is a card of inner wisdom. And the Hermit's an old man with a staff walking over a bunch of snowy, icy mountain peaks. And his lantern is guiding his way. This indicates that the Hermit isn't in a rush. He's going slowly. And he's also traversing over the snow. And snow, for me, it's frozen water. It can represent feelings that have been put on ice, emotions that you've found calcifying your life. And what does the hermit do? He fearlessly goes toward those icy waters, and he uses his lantern with starlight, the light of his immortality, to thaw those waters, to let them flow again. I feel like there's a deep healing that's happening for each and every animal spirit message this week for everybody involved. But there is a requirement to get alone, to get clear, and to take the step that's in front of you. You know, the hermit's going through the dark. He doesn't know how the whole journey looks. He can't see the whole path. All he can see is the next step to take in front of him with his lantern. And that's all he needs to see. That's all you need to see. All you need to do right now is take the step that's before you and watch the magic happen. I feel like everything's going to fall into place for you. And if you've been worried about, will I be okay? Is this going to be all right? The hermit is absolutely telling you, you will be okay, because he holds that star lantern. The star is a symbol for your immortality. It's the part of you that's luminous. It's the part of you that is immortal. It goes on. It doesn't end because of a challenge. And I feel like you need to really remember that you are just divine energy in human form for this short, fleeting time you're on this earth. And all this stuff that stresses you out, it's not going to matter in 100 years. It's probably not even going to matter in 1 year. It's so important that you're gaining the perspective of the stars and looking at things in their proper context and trusting that your spirit and the journey it's on is putting you exactly where you're meant to be. And now that is finally the oracle for this week. I do hope you enjoyed it. And again, thank you so much for the support you're showing my channel and also for my website, elliotoracle.com. I can't thank you enough. And I will see you again here next week, as I see you every week. So do take care.